Today's October 4th, about 5 o'clock now. It's dark around 7 because we don't have enough time to do a hanging hunt. There's only one setup that we got here that's good for the west wind. We'll see what happens. Just got settled in for the first bow hunt here of 2023. It's relatively warm, and I decided to come to a brassica plot that I had high hopes for this year. The brassicas ended up turning out really good, but we've been plagued with the EHD. Wow, that's unfortunate. I've just been itching to get out, and so this just seemed like the perfect opportunity to get out for the first time this year, work out some of the kinks. We're coming off a great season. My little brother Easton, he shot the biggest buck of his life. We went to a spot closer to where I used to live. We did a hanging hunt. An absolute giant stepped out. So even though 2023 has been plagued with some really bad news with EHD, one good thing I would have never predicted was he shot a beast this year. It's funny how things play out. We're not being too intrusive. We got a west wind. It works out great for this spot. Love this time of year. Absolutely love it.
Farm kitty gonna bring us some good luck?
That's yes. Today's October 5th. Just got into the stand. The front's gonna be moving in overnight. Temps are gonna drop. I think deer will be on their feet. There's nothing in particular that I'm trying to shoot this evening. I just love getting out. I just got settled in on the south edge of this secluded plot. That's about 3 acres. It's long and narrow. Bottom third of it is brassicas, where the top 2/3 is clover. And with this northwest wind, it keeps my wind out of the plot. I already had this stand hung before the season. I also created a path so I didn't drop any of my scent on the way in. But I think we should see some good action tonight. The one deer I'd be really excited to see, this buck I call Turbo. I found his match set last year, and he put on quite a few inches this year. He's definitely not to maturity yet.
This is what happens when you forget a saw.
Did a hanging hunt this afternoon on an alfalfa field. Temps have dropped. They're about 55 right now. It's gonna be a low of 45 overnight. And we got a wind that's transitioning from the west to the northwest with this cold front that's moved in today. With how cold it is and how much the temps have dropped, I think deer will be on their feet. This is a good food source this time of year. I love the ability to adjust. Got these commandos locked up in the tree. We're ready to rock and roll. It should be a good evening. October 28th. We had a nice cold front move in last night. Winds died down. We got those cold temps. It's a nice north wind, which is perfect for this spot. I might have to cut this intro short, but I think we'll see some good deer. That's Turbo. October 30th evening. Deer are already out in the field. The spot I'm in, it's really danger close to a lot of the activity we've been seeing. We have a west wind, which deer basically swarm this stand on both sides. Right here to the west of me, there's a couple really good scrapes that deer frequently hit when they enter this field. And like we saw 2 nights ago, Turbo was out here busting away at these scrapes. And Turbo's not on the hit list, but I would love to get some good footage of him up and close. This last week of October, it's really good to set up on a food source and hope to catch a buck checking does. Wow, this spot is great. There is a scrape right below me. I just gotta hope that they don't hit that scrape too much tonight. I think I just heard leaves crunching. Stay tuned. I think it'll be a good set. There's our boy. That was pretty damn cool. Almost sounded like a dog to me.
It's a beautiful morning, and I'm about to ambush a doe bedding area on a permission piece that I've been anxiously holding off. Things are definitely amping up, and it should be a good morning. We got a great wind for it. We'll see what happens.
Trying to find a doe. He just lost her in the CRP. It was still dark when a doe in heat came right under my stand. She had 3 bucks right behind her. And ever since then, I think every buck in the area has picked up her scent and came right to me, because I've seriously had like 7 to 10 bucks within 5 yards of the base of my tree. The type of morning you absolutely dream of hunting during the rut. It kills me to say it, but I've got to get down for a few other commitments. The good news is there's plenty of time left. Here we go, another day, another hanging hunt. With this north wind, I'm gonna take my time and access a bedding area that I know can be pretty hot this time of year. I'm gonna set up on the south side of it and hope having a buck cruise downwind to this bedding area. Should be a good morning. Temps are down. We'll see what happens. Was a pretty cool encounter. That 8-point definitely had me interested, but there's another buck in this area, the wide 7, that I'm holding out for. But that 10 was a nice young deer. Be a good one to see next year for sure. Decided to go into work today. I needed to catch up on sleep, and it sounds weird because I get up to go to work at 5:30, and that's catching up on sleep. And the reason that is because with EHD as bad as it is this year, I've been hunting far away from where I live. And so I've been having to get up at like 2:30 to get there in time for the morning hunts. I'm hunting the lottery farm. I got a west wind here. It blows out across this field edge, which isn't great, but I'm kind of hoping that these deer will come up and skirt this field edge to the northwest of me. But I'm rocking the Cat Tracks lid. If you haven't checked out Cat Tracks yet, make sure to go check it out. My new climbing sticks. Temps have came up, but the good news is that the temps are only gonna go down from here, and tomorrow is kind of when it starts. We get an east wind tomorrow, and I like east winds. I'll probably do an all-day sit tomorrow, but for now, stay tuned.
My second sit of the year. Got into the tree stand early this morning. Had a friend that was in the tree, and
my buddy didn't have anywhere to go except to talk to me. He's waiting for me to leave.
Didn't see a deer this morning. This evening, the wind's calmed down a little bit. We'll see what happens.
I thought I was getting off work a little bit earlier. I still got off within reasonable time and came out to the lottery farm. Today just showed exactly why this is the lottery farm, because I've got a cell camera about 100 yards from my spot right now. And the only picture I had in cell cams this morning was a buck running by it a couple times, probably pushing a doe, but I didn't get the doe on camera. I haven't had a buck that nice on this farm for like 3 months. That's why it's the lottery farm. Maybe he'll come back out this evening with her, or if he hasn't found a doe, maybe I'll come looking around tonight. But with this wind switching, it makes it an opportune time. It's a nice overcast day, and it's the start of rutcation. I'm so excited to be out. some of the other sits we've had so far this rut. It's about 8:30 now, and I was gonna get myself a treat, but it's smashed. Oh well, I'll still salvage it. Doing an all-day sit, you gotta have your midday snacks.
2 bucks just chased a doe up this ridge. They were both grunting and sheeps up there snorting right now. They just pushed her out to the set-aside field. I hope she comes my way, because the one looks like a shooter.
I just got a good reminder of how anything can happen at any time, because I just heard grunting coming up the ridge out of nowhere, and then they came out to this CRP, and then they were circling this doe, and she was snorting. I could see the one buck, and he was a little 8. The other one was a nice 8 with a drop time. He pushed her to the other side of the CRP, and I can't see him anymore. I thought today was really slow, and I was like trying to game plan for tomorrow, and just like that, bam. That's why you always gotta stay sharp. Hopefully we'll see some more activity here before the day ends.
Real nice 10 point, but I just don't think he's that old. Tough pass for sure.
Back out of here today, and it's a really good win for today. We have a storm cell moving through midday. The temps are relatively high to what they've been, but because we have cloud cover all day, I think we should see some really good action.
There's a good buck out in the field right now. Let's see if we can pull him in. He's coming. That buck just came in downwind to me. I must have rattled him in as well. That 9 point circled his way back out into the CRP.
Holy cow, this morning has been extremely eventful. About 10:15 now, and I've had deer around me all morning. Some really cool action. I've never heard a buck grunt like that one that grunted. The first deer I saw was an 8 point. About 10 minutes later, I looked up and saw a nice 9 point out there. And after the rattle, not only did he respond, but there was one behind me that was working its way downwind. And then all of a sudden, he popped out right here, and he was at about 40 yards. The 9 point did, and I was trying to evaluate if he was a shooter or not. He was at about 35 yards, and I'm like, I'll just wait. Well, he went in the woods, never circled around. He just kept going south. I thought that was odd. Fast forward about 45 minutes, and I see him back out in the CRP 30 minutes after that. The little one came up here on this ridge behind me and had a doe with it as well, and he was over here grunting. But about 20 minutes later, a bully buck, he's like a 7.2 on one side and a nice 5 on the other. But he came up and pushed that other buck away and then pushed that doe back down the ridge. I'm kind of in the middle of everything right now, but I'm in range of nothing. I do believe that we'll see some more deer this afternoon.
That's a shooter. He's got no interest. Today was probably the best day of hunting I've ever experienced. Buck action all day. Here we go. back at it for another day. Doing a hanging hunt would be really hard to top the amount of activity we saw yesterday, but I'm going to be doing it in a new spot, a different bedding area. And there's a couple of bucks that are in the area, like the wide 7, that I'm really hoping we'll see at some point, but we haven't yet. We're going to keep putting in the time, we're going to keep putting in the effort, and eventually something will have to come together. At least I hope. We'll see if it's today.
That 9-point that I rattled in the other day is tending a doe over here. He just laid down with her. They're about 40 yards out right now. That was a cool encounter. I just hope that that wasn't the last thing that we see today. About 1 o'clock now. Stay tuned. I didn't even notice this until the timber floor got shaded out, but there's a shed right over here. This is funny. At least we're not going home empty-handed.
Another day, another dollar. Hopefully today will be the day. We're gonna hit a good bedding area and hope to catch one cruising here.
There's the wide 7. About 80 yards out. Another day, another hanging hunt, and most likely gonna be another all-day sit. Gonna trek back in today, about 3/4 of a mile from the truck on this spot where it's a 3-way transition between open timber, thick timber, and a set-aside field. It's the type of area where deer will not only push does to, but bucks will come scent checking throughout the day. We got a great wind for it, and I'm gonna take the long way in so I don't drop my scent anywhere the deer might be upwind of me. We'll see what today brings. You ain't gonna know unless you're out trying. Deer is nice. I have some trail cam pics of him. I just don't think he's that old. He doesn't really have a lot of mass, but his frame really looks nice. I hope he makes it through. Doing another all-day sit. It was a pretty eventful morning, but we chased it all around this edge right here, and then she's bedded down about 30 yards from me. We'll see what happens. It's been the coldest day this week. These all-day sits are really draining me because it's about an hour from where I live to where I hunt, and I've been doing hanging hunts, so it's like to get in time. It's just really early mornings and not getting back till late at night. Hoping that it'll pay off here. That same 10-point from this morning just came back out up in that timber. He must have bedded her down not too far from him. He's still tending her though.
Another day, another dollar, and we are back out and gonna be hunting here this morning. I got a lot of energy back because I just went to work most of the week, but I'm gonna take off first half of this day on this nice cold November morning. Gonna be doing a hang and bang in a bedding area that can be hot. Just maybe I'll be able to check the weekend off right. We'll see what today brings.
There's a doe bedded down just right over there. She's gotta be hot. Multiple bucks have bumped her already this morning. doe bedded down here not too far from me this morning. Another buck came in and pushed the first buck off, and then ran that doe up in these cedars up here to the north of me 5 minutes ago. The little buck that was with them just came back, so he must have pushed him off. But with it being so late in the rut, there's not many does that are in heat, and I want to get close to her trail, and I'm going to give it another 5 minutes, and then I'm going to pack everything up, and we're going to move about 70 yards to the north. Pretty sure she's not bedded too far from there, and I think that eventually into the day she might get pushed out. Nice thing is it's a relatively windy day. When the wind starts to pick up, that's when I'll make my move. We've got to get aggressive this time of year. Just got settled into the second spot. The tree that I picked out is about 20, 30 yards from where I last saw her. Once I got to this tree, I was starting to unpack the sticks. Looked up. The buck I last saw her with actually walked out of the thicket and was looking around. I think that he thought the noise was a buck and he was coming to check it out. I never saw him go back into the thicket. I waited about 10 minutes and then I slowly started to poke one step up at a time. As I was getting this tree stand up, I was using the wind as to my advantage. I waited for the wind to pick up like it is right now, and that's when I would put up another stick. This doe just stepped out of the thicket. She's 20 yards from me. If that's the same doe that was in heat from earlier, I might have just hit the lottery. Everything went picture perfect. Just didn't end up being the buck I wanted to shoot. That was pretty awesome though, how he came in and found her without seeing her. There's the white 7. Laid down at exactly 60 yards out. The 10 point and the doe from earlier about 100 yards out, 40 yards away from him. If he presents a shot at 60 out of his bed, I'm gonna take it because more than likely he's gonna end up going the other way. Oh my gosh, perfect shot, perfect shot. Go down, go down. Holy cow. What the f- He seems fine. I don't get it. Just laid downwind of that doe. About 120 yards out right now. I don't know what happened. I thought I made a perfect shot. That is the coolest whitetail I have ever seen. And I don't have trail cam pictures of her. I'm gonna get down and try to sneak out of here without disturbing anything. I don't think that 7 point's bedded too far from here with that doe. I'm gonna go back and look at the footage and see if I can get a better idea of what happened.
All right, well, I didn't actually take any footage that night after I took that shot at the wide 7. And the reason was I was just so upset with myself because when I went home that night, I ended up watching the footage on a bigger screen and I could see exactly what happened. This deer, he's lying down like this, right? He stands up and then he takes his neck and he goes like this, and I thought that his shoulder came with it like this, and I thought that opened up his vitals right here. What I didn't realize is his shoulder stayed here, but his neck and his head went like this, so it looked like he opened his vitals up, but he really didn't. I burned the pin on him, let the arrow fly, and arrow actually hit exactly where I was aiming. That ended up being the reason I didn't get him, because that arrow hit him, and you can really hear how it thwacks the shoulder. I had nothing to blame but myself. That was just poor aiming on my part, not like recognizing that his shoulder was still in the same spot. It's a lesson learned to hopefully get better for the next time, and I hope it's a good reminder just to make sure that you're very conscientious of how the deer is oriented, where his leg's at before you take that shot.
All right, here we go. Another day out for hanging hunt. It's gonna be an interesting morning. A lot of moonlight. On top of that, it's one of the lowest wind days I've ever seen. It says like 1 mile per hour. We're gonna see a lot of wind swirling today. I'm gonna go to the spot that actually I can never predict exactly where the deer are gonna come from. I was really bummed out about that situation yesterday. You know, there's only one way to cure that, and we're not gonna give up. Hopefully we can get a second chance here. That 8-point is mature. Well, it really doesn't matter if I wanted to shoot him or not, because there was no way I was stopping him. Awesome morning so far, but I had 3 does come under my stand, but then I heard one snorting on the ridge over here to the east of me, and there's a nice 8-point that I recognize from camera. Grinding November here. Heading back out, gonna hunt a transition spot. Probably will end up doing an all-day sit. Got a good wind for it. We'll see what happens. That buck looked nice coming in, but the more I looked at him, I don't think he was as big as I initially thought. I think that was the right decision. I just got a glimpse of the wide 7. He's out on an island with a doe. I can see that he's limping around. Just confirms that I got him in the shoulder. He's gonna be fine. Just still frustrated with myself. Maybe we'll get lucky and she'll come our way later today or something. I can't tell what buck that is. I'm gonna try to pull him in.
Another late November hanging hunt here. This one's gonna be a good ways back in on public. Now it's like 4:30. We're just trying something, see if we can find where buck is maybe pushing his last doe, or catch one cruising to try to find that last doe. So hopefully we are in the feast spot today. Stay tuned.
Closer to the end of the rut here. A couple days left before November comes to an end, and today I got close in on one of these bedding areas. I've accepted that I'm likely going to eat my jag. Some people would consider that a loss to me. It's given me more opportunities to learn. That buck just came in here and bedded down, not even 20 yards from me. Something spooked him up this way. He kept looking back, and a coyote ended up coming through. We've seen quite a bit of movement and activity today, even through midday. This is a good doe bedding area, and bucks know that, and that's why they're continuing to come in and check here throughout the day. was crop top. I'm probably gonna regret passing him this late in November, but it is what it is now. Alright, we are rocking another hanging hunt today here in late November. It is cold. Cold, and I'm going back about half a mile. My hope is either A, to catch a buck pushing a doe back through a bedding area at the break of light, or B, make some noise. Maybe I'll be able to pull something in, who knows, but you're not gonna know unless you try. Temps are lower than they've been all year. I like it. We'll see what happens. Day sit. Really nice day, just really windy, but we got overcast all day. I'm at 6 layers on top, 4 layers on bottom, and I'm still shivering, but I'm really hoping we'll catch a midday cruiser here. Good morning. But as far as deer activity goes, I only ended up seeing 1 buck. I was hoping to see a little bit more action than that with front that moved in. I decided to switch it up and get back to food because this time of year, one of the best spots bucks to come check for their last doe is a hot food source. I just hope that they're feeding on this turnip plot. I gotta go back to work tomorrow. It's been a really fun November. There's a lot to take away from it. Smashed a record number of Uncrustables. Been a disaster here after work trying to get everything ready. Alarms didn't go off this morning, so I had to rush back, and I'm hunting on this food plot that I planted in the summer. It's 1 acre. This is the lottery farm. And this hanging hunt, the reason I did it the way I did it is because I got the sun on my back. So anything that's bedding on the bank over there, it'll be pretty hard for them to see me. Got a good wind, low temps, snow on the ground, hunting on food. Maybe something will come through. December 1st, the last day of the early bow season. A nice front moving in here right before dark, and I know that there's some beans up in this field. As I was just getting everything ready, 2 of the deer that I saw run up across this field came right back up, so I had to slowly unpack while they got within bow range. It's Turbo. Glad to see he's alive.
Guys, well, that ends up concluding the season. I didn't end up filling my bow tag that season. But that season was a huge win because I learned so much from that season. I hunted that season more than I've hunted any other bow season in the past. Is it upsetting and frustrating that I didn't get to fill my tag on the wide 7? Absolutely it is. It still bugs me today, but that's bow hunting. That's not gonna be the last time that I'm gonna end up messing up an opportunity, but I'm gonna get better from it. I'm gonna use it as a learning lesson. And I'm also very thankful because I didn't fatally wound that deer. I know that deer lived on and was fine for the rest of the season because I ended up finding his shed. I appreciate you guys sticking around this long. You want to make sure to stay tuned because we're going to have a lot more coming out. Until next time, I'm signing out.